Yes, my dear students, now let's go to an important question in this chapter, an, an important law. That is, the question is explain the law of diminishing marginal utility with the help of a table and a diagram. Explain the law of diminishing marginal utility, that is DMU, the law of DMU, diminishing marginal utility. This law is a famous law in economics. Earlier, it was developed by a German economist by name H.H. Goshen. That's why this law of diminishing marginal utility is called Goshen's first law. Later, it was our great economist Alfred Marshall popularized this theory. This law of diminishing marginal utility is very, very important. It has to be understood clearly by a student of economics. What does this law of diminishing marginal utility state? As we go on consuming more and more units of a commodity, the marginal utility that is derived diminishes or decreases. In the words of Professor Bowling, as the consumer increases the consumption of one commodity, say it is a variable commodity, keeping the consumption of other commodities constant, the marginal utility of the variable commodity will eventually decline. I will repeat it again. The statement given by Professor Bowling: as the consumer increases the consumption of one commodity, keeping the consumption of other commodities constant, we should not use some other commodities except this variable commodity, the marginal utility of that variable commodity will eventually decline or diminish. That's the famous statement given by Professor Bolt. In short, larger the quantity of a commodity, lesser will be the utility. You can give an example of a rich man who has crores of rupees. He gives 100 rupees tips to the person who supplies coffee. Why he does it? Because he finds less utility as he has got larger quantity of money. Whereas a person who earns just 200 rupees a day, he is unable to give even 5 rupees as tips. So that does mean it is a common observation that has been seen that as he goes on consuming more and more units of a commodity, the marginal utility diminishes. And this law has been based on certain assumptions. Number one, very important one, the units of a commodity should be identical. It should be same in size, quality, quantity, and everything, taste. And these units should be used one after another without time interval. And the other commodities should not be used. So these are the important assumptions on which the law is formulated. Now let us explain this law of diminishing marginal utility with an example. Say for example, the consumer consumes 6 or 7 units of jamun. These jamuns are of same size, same taste, same quantity. When he consumes the first jamun, he derives 10 utils of utility. And the second when he consumes second, it should have given him 10 utils of utility, but it is not so. It gives him only 8 utils. Likewise, when he goes on consuming one after another unit of a commodity, that is jamun, the marginal utility goes on decreasing. The first one gave him 10 utils, fifth one gave him 2 utils of utility, and sixth one gives no utility at all. There is no use in consuming that sixth jamun. Suppose if he takes the seventh one, he gets disutility, that is -2. So, what we see here is, as a person goes on consuming more and more units of a commodity, the marginal utility goes on diminishing. So, let's understand this law of diminishing marginal utility with the help of a diagram. So, this is O y-axis and this is O x-axis. This is O y. Now let's measure the units of jamun, of a commodity, jamun, and TU and MU, that is total utility and MU are measured along O y-axis. So these are units, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. So the consumer consumes 7 units of jamun. Now utility. Now let us see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. Total utility and marginal utilities are measured along O y-axis. Let us draw the marginal utility curve first. So the first utility, the first unit derives him 10 marginal utility. Second one gives him 8. Third one gives him 6. Fourth one 4. Sixth, fifth one 2. And sixth one 6. So you just join all these points. This is MU curve. And let's see 10, 18, 18, next 24, 28, 30, and 28. Let us join this. This is total utility curve. This is marginal utility curve. So the diagram shows that two curves are drawn here. The marginal utility curve slopes downwards. It goes on diminishing. And total utility curve slopes upward. It increases at a decreasing rate. Please understand. It increases at a decreasing rate. And total utility becomes maximum, that is 30. At sixth one, it becomes maximum at 6. So when it becomes maximum, total utility becomes maximum, marginal utility will be 0. So it is 0. Suppose if the consumer takes 7th one, he gets distinct utility. That does mean when total utility starts falling, it starts falling from 30 to 28, the marginal utility will become negative. It enters the negative portion. So this diagram has to be supported with explanation. And if this diagram is to be drawn, you have to write a table. So this is about the law of diminishing marginal utility.